नमः सुन्दरनाथाय तस्मै हालस्य वासिने चतुष्षष्टि विधालीला येनाकारि भुवस्थले श्रीमत्सुन्दरनाथस्य देवीं शफरलोचनां कलये हृदये नित्यं कदम्ब वनवासिनी पूतं स्वतः पूततरं ततो यद् गाङ्गम्बयः शङ्करमौळिसङ्गात् तत्पातु मातुः प्रणयापराधपादाहते पूततमं ततो नः. uh, I gave an introduction of the fourth Sarga last time, and we had a small discussion about the meter Anushtup. I learned a lot last time. So I just wanted to go over the whole thing one more time just to be clear. So Panchamam Laghu Sarvatra Saptamam Dvichaturthayoho Guruhu Shashtham cha Padanam Shesheshu Aniyamaha Mataha. Anushtup Chandas has to have 8 letters. And this chandas is followed in this fourth sarga from shloka 1 to 106, and then the last two shlokas of this sarga take on a different meter. So panchamam laghu sarvatra. So the fifth letter should be laghu letter in all 4 padas. So you will find the fifth letter being laghu in all 4 padas, whereas Saptamam Dvi Chaturthayoho, the 7th letter should have a laghu only in the 2nd and the 4th one. 4th pada, that is, you split one line into 2 padas, 8 plus 8. So there are 16 letters there. So Sarvatra Guruhu Shashtham. The 6th letter should be a Guru letter, and that is there in all 4 padas also. If there is a hrasva, let's say sa and tu here, or these two are hrasva letters, but it is followed by a samyuktakshara here, and hence this becomes guru. This is treated, even though it is hrasva, it is treated as guru. Now the rest can be aniyamaha. Any other letters. That is why I have just put 1, 2, 3, 4 or 7 and 8 here, whereas 8 here. These letters can be either laghu or guru. There is no niyama for this. In the same text, they also add that it is prayikam. Prayikam ashtaksharata mata. In general, if there is ashtakshara, you term it as an anushtup jati, and you can have different vrittams underneath that jati, or it can have no niyama also. So I was saying about how you won't find this rule being followed very strictly in many cases. I came across a couple of shlokas in Vishnu Puranam, and one in 1 or 2, maybe even more in Trishati. So I will point that out later. Now here, if you look at the first shloka that we dealt with last time, which is Nivritte Vasave Tasmin Nivritte Chantare Manoho Indan Chakara Kopyanyo Vrindaraka Niketane, you will have Panchamam Laghu Sarvatra. The 5th one is Laghu everywhere. And then there is a Guru here in the 6th, Shashtham Guruhu. Every pada has the 6th letter as Guru. Now, when you come to the 7th letter, these two don't matter. We only want the Dvichaturthayoho in the 2nd and the 4th pada. You have a laghu for the 7th letter. Nilakanta Dikshita follows this pattern, and he sticks to this rule really well in his entire sarga here. Now, about the difference that I was talking about. So, if you take the Trishati or something else, sometimes சிலதெல்லாம் வந்து நமக்கு மீட்டர்ல சொல்றச்சே ஒழுங்கா வராது. அதாவது we are used to a certain kind of tone, and sometimes those shlokas will not fit into that tune that we are used to. Say for Gita or even Vishnu Lalita Sahasranamam, there are certain shlokas which seem like there is a என்னமோ நெரடுறதேம்போ. Tatra Kaschana, there is an obstacle there for us to recite it in the tune that we are constantly used to. Lalama Raja Dalika, that if you notice, if you analyze the vrittam there, then you will find that it deviates from this Panchamam Laghu Sarvatra Saptamam Dvichaturthayoho Guru Shashtham. So it will deviate from that. Your tune won't fit properly with that, with those words. So some examples that I've taken is Lalama Raja Dalika. Lalama Raja Dalika, the sixth one should be a guru, whereas here it is a laghu. If you note, the is a laghu here. And Hrinkara Vachya, Hrinkara Pujya, Hrinkara Pithika. So here also the fifth letter should be a laghu, but it is dirgha and it is a guru letter. So when you will note these, that's why you will note that there is an aberration, there is a difference, there is an obstacle in saying it in the tune that you are used to. When you note that, then you can sit and analyze that shloka. You will understand that somewhere there is a problem with the this thing, the meter. That is, they have not used the proper guru or the laghu which fits. That is why Chando Manjari has come up with this. He says, Prayoge prayikam prahuhu kepi etad vritta lakshanam. It is only by practice that this is called. So, loke anushtub iti khyatam. Whatever is known as anushtub in the world, it has 8 aksharas. Tasya ashtaksharata mata. Okay. Now, we'll go on to the text now. Nivritte vasave tasmin nivritte chantare manoho indanchakara kopyanyo vrindaraka niketane. We're dealing with the second Leela of Parameshwara. Now, nivritte vasave tasmin, when one Indra had gone, that is, Indra rules over for one manvantara, or for his time period, he will rule over the Swarga or Triworld. He is also called there as the Triloka Adhipati. So even though he is Swarga Adhipati, he has his rule over other lokas also to a certain extent, but he is involved, his jurisdiction is the Swarga. So once his lifetime is over, another one who is capable of becoming an Indra, who performs 100 yagas or something like that, and he will be appointed as Indra to the Swargam. In this manner, one Indra's life was over. That is, when that Indra had gone, and then you have a Manvantara time frame. What is a Manvantara time frame? I spoke about this last time also, wherein this Manvantara constitutes 71 Chaturyugas. So Chaturyuga, every Chaturyugam, after one Chaturyugam, there is a Pralaya, then another Chaturyugam happens. In this manner, you have several Chaturyugas that go on, and 71 such Chaturyugas constitute one Manvantara. 14 such Manvantaras constitute a Mahakalpam. Now, this constitutes one kalpam. Now, this format, when you look at this format, we will be like one fly in this entire time frame. Our time, which is just 100 years probably, even if a person lives to 100 years, we find it very great, right? But that is very minuscule compared to this time frame that we are looking at, which is Brahma's time frame. Okay, so even a Manu's time frame is something beyond our conception. Maybe Deva's this thing we can sort of try to understand, because 365 years is one day for them. 1 year for them. That is probably, to a certain extent, we can think about it, but beyond that, it is unimaginable for us to look at that time frame that they are talking about. So Manoho Antarecha Nivritte. One Manu was also gone. So one Manu's time or rule was also gone. And then another Indra had come there. Kopi Anyaha Indraha Vrindarakaniketane, in the abode of the Devas, Indan Chakara. So he ruled. Parameshwaryena Sthitaha Asita Tatra Amaravatyam. Okay. Now, what happened to this Indra? Now, we are talking about the second Indra in the second Leela. Abhramatangamaruhya Vibhramad Amareshwaraha Samvrita Sakalair Devaihi Nijagama Purat Bahihi. In the first class, we saw about how the prasam works in this Anuprasa. Now, there is a very specific thing called monai, right? Yedugai monai na Tamil chollo. And this is also very popular in Carnatic music compositions, if you have seen, like even in Muthuswami Dikshitar's, even in the Sanskrit compositions or Kannada compositions, you may see that there is this thing called Dvitiyakshara Prasa. Leave out the first aksharam and go to the second aksharam. You will find that these two will match. Now here he has a combination of those which are matching. Abhramatangam aruhya vibhramaadamareshwaraha samvrita sakalairde. This is the repetition of that brahma is there in the first and the second padam, which is very unique to South Indian thing. So he must have probably read a lot more of Tamil works for him to be influenced in this manner and write the fourth Sarga this way probably. You will find this a lot in this Sarga. So what did Amara do? What did Amareshwara do here? Amareshwaraha purat bahihi nirjagama purat bahihi. He left nirjagama nirgachati gachati ityukte saha chalati iti nirgachati ityukte bahihi agachati iti. So purat bahihi nirgachati. He came out of his city. Nirjagama jagama ityatra litlakaraha. So Amareshwaraha, Amaranam Ishwaraha, Devanam Ishwaraha, Indraha, Swapurat Amaravatyaha, Bahihi Nirjagama. He came out. How did he come out? He didn't come out normally. You need, if the king is coming out, there should be a paraphernalia there. There should be an utsavam kind of atmosphere when he comes out, even simply. So purat bahihi saha gacchati iti chet swasya airavatam aruhya saha gacchati abhramatangam aruhya. Abhramatangam. Matangaha is an elephant. Gajaha. Abhra ityukte meghasya. So meghasya adhishtata gajaha. So it's like something like a madhyama pada lopi samasaha. So that is abhrasya matangaha abhramatangaha. Abhraha ityukte meghaha. So one who is responsible for the cloud. So you have 8 Diggajas, and Airavata is one of those Diggajas also, and he is responsible for the cloud. So Meghanam Adhishtata Saha. So Abhramatangaha ityukte Airavataha ityeva. So Abhramatangam aruhya Meghasya Adhishtatra Rupena Yaha Gajaha Airavataha Vartate Tam Airavatam aruhya. Tam Airavatam aruhya. Okay. Sakalaihi devaihi sambritaha, being surrounded by all the devas. It doesn't go normally here. He goes with his entire parivaram here. So Sakalaihi devaihi sambritaha Amareshwaraha swapurat bahihi nirjagama. So it's a very simple shlokas in the beginning. So Abhramatangam Amareshwaraha. I forgot this word, Vibhramat. Vibhramat. Why did he go out? There was no particular rhyme or reason here. Krida hetoho. Just like that, out of fun. He wanted to go out, so he climbed onto his elephant. Abhramatangam aruhya vibhramat. Very sportively, or krida hetoho saha bahihi agachat. So sakalaihi devaihi sambritaha, being surrounded by all of those devas, surrounded by them, he purat bahihi nirjagama, he came out of the city. So abhramatangam aruhya vibhramad amareshwaraha samvritas sakalair devaihi nirjagama purat bahihi. Now it so happened, his fate, he met Durvasa here. Sarvasamapi siddhinam Durvasa nidhiradbutaha samagacchata tena abhre sahigachan yadrichaya. See how the words just naturally flow with prasam here. There's so much of anuprasa in this. Sarvasamapi siddhinam Durvasa. I told you about that combination of letters repeating, right? Here also you have sarvasamapi durvasa nidhiradbutaha. Okay. So sarvasamapi siddhinam adbhutaha nidhihi durvasaha saha yadrichaya gachan tena abhre samagacchata. Yadrichaya samagacchata. Now I have taken this yadrichaya for both gachan and for samagacchata. You'll understand why in a few minutes. So sarvasam api siddhinam. Who is this Durvasa? Sarvasam api siddhinam. Sakalanam api ashtanam api siddhinam sayeva nidhihi. Nidhihi ityukte, he is adharabhutaha saha. He is like a wonderful treasure of all the siddhis in the world. Siddhi is accomplishments that people do through tapas, penance, and japam, etc., dhyanam. And those accomplishments, there are 8 such siddhis that they say, principally, but there can be other things also. It depends on what each one wants and what accomplishment that each person wants through their penance or through their meditation. So, yah kopi siddhihi bhavati or ya kapi siddhihi bhavati loke tasam sarvasam api siddhinam ayameva nidhihi bhavati. Itukte, whatever siddhi that you can even think of in the world, he would have already achieved it. So that's why it's like a legitimate anger that he always has. So every time he expends his siddhi through that anger, he also goes back and does double or triple the amount of tapas and gains another accomplishment there. So he is always keeping it in check somehow. Only if the other person is also very insulting, that anger comes out in that form. That's all. Sarvasam api siddhinam adbhutaha nidhihi. He is like an adbhutaha, ascharya wonderful treasure of sarvasam api siddhinam. All of those siddhis. That is Durvasa. Saha Durvasaha. This is like Sakaranta Pullinga Padam Chandramaha. Chandramasau Chandramasaha. Iti. So Durvasaha Durvasasau Durvasasaha. Iti. So, Saha Yadrichaya Gachan. He was going in the Akasha Margam. Abhre Akashe. We saw earlier also in the earlier shloka, Abhra Matangam iti, Abhra ityukte Megha. You can take it as Megha Margam also. So, Abhre Gachan, Abhre Akashe Gachan. Abhram can mean Megha, it can mean Akasha also. So, Abhre Gachan, Akashe Gachan. Yadrichaya Gachan. He was just randomly going. He had no particular lakshyam there to walk around. There was no goal for him that he had to go and see Shiva or he had to go and see someone else. He had just finished doing some puja in a place and he got some prasadam from there. And then he was walking through the Akasha Margam. So, Abhre Yadrichaya Gachan. Yadrichaya, Swechaya. Of his own accord, he was just walking. Durvasa. Now, it so happened that Indra was also traveling through that Akasha Margam. And Tena Indrena Saha Yadrichaya Samagachata. Yadrichaya Atratu. I take it as Daiva Vashat. Because of fate. See, Yadrichaya means Yasya Ichaya or not actually, it's you can't do a vyutpatti for that word. You can take it as of his own accord. Yadechya partho அப்படின்னு சொல்றது இல்ல தமிழ்ல. Yadechyaனா it is only by some this thing or a chance, accident. Accidentally you see someone abringro. That is one. Or yadrichaya can also mean according to one's own will. Swechaya. Ityarthe api bhavitum arhati. When you take it as accident, there is nothing accident in this world. Everything is a programmed path. So it is daiva vashat eva. It is only by fate. So yadrichaya can mean daiva vashat or it can also mean swechaya. So Durvasa was walking swechaya of his own accord, but then he happened to meet with the Indra. Tena Indrena Yadrichaya Samagachata. He met Amilat. So Sangachati means he is meeting, he meets with Indra Yadrichaya. That is by fate. So accidentally or by fate, he meets Indra as he was walking by his own wish, nirlakshyataya. There was no goal in his mind as he was walking. Who was walking here? Sarvasam siddhinam adbhutaha nidhihi durvasaha. Sarvasam api siddhinam durvasaha nidhihi adbhutaha. Samagacchata tena abhre sahi gachan yadrichaya. Now the 8 siddhis are, it is given in Amarakosha. So this Amarakosha shlokam is there as a prakshipta shlokam, or it is a pathabedam. Some manuscripts have this shloka, some manuscripts do not have this shloka. It is there in Swargavarga when talking about Aishwaryam, Vibhutihi, Bhutihi, Aishwaryam, Ityadikam. So what is that Aishwaryam or Siddhi that you talk about? Those are the Ashta Siddhayaha are Anima, Mahima Chaiva, Garima, Laghima Tatha, Praptif Prakamyanishitvam, Vashitvam Chashta Siddhayaha. There are different versions of this shloka, but the idea is the same. You will have Vashita Ishita Chaiva iti, Vashitvam Ishita Chaiva, or something or the other. There will be differences in the ordering. It's not about the order or anything, but it is more about the qualities that you talk about. So Ashta Siddhayaha are the main principal 8 siddhis that each one wants to achieve through penance. Every rishi wants to achieve through penance. So Anima, Mahima, Garima, Laghima, Praptihi, Prakamyam, Ishitvam and Vashitvam. What is the meaning of this? Anima. Anima ityukte anoho bhavaha. Bhavaha, you can have anutvam, anuta. You can also have this anima as an there is a different pratyaya there called imanich pratyaya. So you can have anima. Anima ityukte anoho bhavaha. Anu paramanuvat sukshma rupena avasthanam. So you can reduce yourself to one of the siddhis is that you can become and reduce yourself to the size of an atom. You can become so small that nobody can see you. It is like a paramanu. So that is anima. That siddhi is called anima. Mahima is mahataha bhavaha. Bhagavan can be someone who can encompass the entire Brahmandam and be not only Akasha. Akasha is present only as an atmosphere here surrounding the earth or something like that. It is still one of the elements. That's all. It cannot encompass, it cannot be inside the Prithvi, it cannot be inside Jalam. You can imagine that probably this is something like Akasham, that's all. But Akasham is not the ultimate thing that is Mahat. Mahat ityukte something that is great in Parimanam. As you look at bigger and bigger things, Brahmandam is probably the biggest thing that you can think about. But Bhagavan stands beyond that also. Atyatishtat dashangulam. இருக்கு இல்லையா இதுல இன் புருஷ சுக்தம் யூ ஹேவ் அதி அதிஷ்டத்து தச அங்குல பர்யந்தம் சஹா பிரம்மாண்டம் அதி வர்த்ததே. He is inside the Brahmandam, he encompasses the Brahmandam, and he is beyond the Brahmandam. So that is the Mahataha Bhavaha or Mahima. நம்ம சாதாரணமா we use the word Mahima also to imply, oh, greatness of that person. Tasya Mahima, etasya Mahima iti. That's the very simple word, but when you take it into the context of Siddhi or Yoga Shastram wise, then it is called, it is something that gives you that all-pervading nature is called Mahima. Next is Garima. Garima ityukte guroho bhavaha Garima. Guru na weight, not only Bahumanam, respect, it also means a weight. Like gravity. So Meru Parvatavatu Gurutva Bhavanam, someone who can be as heavy as a mountain. அப்போதான் வந்து இந்த உலகத்தையே தாங்க முடியும். That's when he can, right? சேஷாவதார ரூபேண சஹாது பூமிமேவ சஸ்ய மூர்ಧ್ನಿ வஹதி சஹா இத்யுக்தே तस्य तु कीदृशी गुरुता भवति इति पश्यन्तु. So garima इत्युक्ते पर्वतवत् सः गुरुत्वेन he can, there is a weight to him, there is a mass that is one of the siddhi. So you cannot even lift. You remember the story of how Bhima tried to lift the tail of Hanuman and he could not. Hanuman took the form of an old monkey and he was lying in the path of Bhima, and then Bhima went there and tried to lift him, right? But he couldn't. That is that Gurutvam he took on at that point of time to test Bhima and to bring down his Garvam there. So you can bring on that Siddhi if that Siddhi is present. You need not show it every time. You can bring it on when you feel like, and it will make you very heavy at that point of time, and nobody can shake you. That is your Garima. Laghima, laghoho bhavaha. Again, this is also in relative to weight or mass. So karpasana, it's like cotton. Like a cotton, laghutva bhavanam. You can become very light and anybody can lift you at that point of time. Praptihi abhipsita prapanam. Reaching anything that you wish for. Abhipsita prapanam. So something like Angulya Chandramandala Sparshanam. If you want to touch the moon with the tip of your finger, then you can just easily touch it with the tip of your finger. So this is prapti, attaining whatever you wish for, attaining whatever you want to go. This is with respect to distances. This is not with respect to mind desire. This is with respect to physical distance and attaining it. There are many siddhas and those people whom, if you were thinking about the mind, you want to go to Kailasam at this point of time, see Parameshwara and come here, they will do it. They'll probably physically they will be present there and then come here also. In a moment they can disappear from one place and then reappear in another place. These sort of stories and these sort of incidents are there in our, we've heard about many rishis doing this. That siddhi is called prapti, being in a place wherever you wish for. That is attaining that place. Next is prakamyam. Prakamyam ityukte prakamasya bhavaha. Yatkimapi manasi ichha vartate tasya vignameva nasti iti. Ichha anabhigataha. Anabhigataha vignatvam nasti ichhayaha. Whatever you may wish for, that wish will be satisfied or fulfilled. This is not with respect to distance, but this is respect to the mind, achieving whatever you want in the mind. Next is Ishitvam. Ishitvam is a prabhutvam, that is அந்த ஆளுமைங்கிறோம். தமிழ்ல சொல்லும் பொழுது ஆளுமை, sovereignty. The sovereignty is the utpadana shaktitvam. You can create whatever you want in this world. That is your power, showing your ultimate power. The next is Vashitvam, bringing everything under your control. Swayatti karanam. Vashinaha bhavaha. Ishinaha bhavaha ityukte ishate iti ishi vasham karoti. Right? So swavasham karoti iti vashinaha bhavaha. Vashi. So vashinaha bhavaha. Ayatti karanam. Swayatti karanam. Ityukte sarva prananam antaryamitaya. He is present as the inner controller of every living being and controls them. That is swavashikaranam, bringing them under your control. These are the 8 siddhis. See, we've always thought about Ashtasiddhi. We have never gone into details as to what each of these siddhis are. Anima, Garima, Mahima, Abdinodo. Just to we have to have a proper clear understanding of all these things, right? So some of these explanations I have taken it from a text called Nyaya Kosha, and that gives a lot of explanations like this from different texts, and it is a combination of definitions from different branches of learning. So this is mainly from Yoga Shastra and other places. So Anima, how can you achieve these siddhis? Tapas, mantra, japa and tapa and dhyanam. These are the things that will get you closer and closer to these siddhis. But then this is not the goal. Moksham should be the goal there. Durvasa, even though he had all of these siddhis, he did not deal in them. That's what we are going to see in the next shloka. Okay, he may have achieved all of these things, but he did not get led by it, nor was he diverted by all of these siddhis. And Nilakanta Dikshita very beautifully explains that in the next shloka. Paripalayitum raudrim pratisargadhikaritam tasyana jalati krodho yasya eka jagadahutihi. You saw the word Ishitvam and Vashitvam there. ईशित्वम् इत्युक्ते प्रभुः सः जगतः प्रभुः इति चेत् सृष्टि स्थिति लयः त्रयमपि तस्य वशे वर्तते इति. So because he is the Ishaha, he had all of those siddhis. The last two siddhis also you will have to keep in mind. The first few are not so, they don't have so much of an implication as to the last two. Last two are extremely powerful in the sense that you can create anything. If you can create anything, you can destroy everything also. Vashitvam, you can have everything under your control, which is you are the creator and you can be the destroyer also. It will give you that power, but he did not indulge in that power. Durvasa was such a great Maharshi that he did not indulge himself in that power. Chuma try pani papume. Not like Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra was a person who also had all these siddhis, but he indulged in those powers. Right? He said, okay, Trishanku, I will create one Sarga for you. He started creating, but that created an imbalance in the world. That's why he had to stop it in the middle. Right? Even though they have that power, they rarely indulge in that power. They do not show it out. That is the greatness. So, paripalayitum raudrim pratisargadhikaritam tasyana jvalati krodho yasyaika jagadahutihi. Now, what does this mean? Yasya jagat eva eka ahutihi tasya krodha na jvalati. Yasya maharshehe jagat eka ahutihi. Ahuti ityukte havihi, indhanam, a fuel. This entire world can become a fuel for Durvasa's anger. So we always talk about Durvasa's anger, right? He is the amsha of Rudra. He is the Rudramsha iti karanat tasya kopaha tu adhikaha bhavati. So his kopam is like one agni. It is like a fire which is capable of destroying the entire world. The whole ahuti, for him the whole world is the oblation. If you have to satisfy an agni for it to burn and then subside, you need some sort of an indhanam or a fuel for it. Here, for that, for Durvasa's anger, this entire world is the ahuti for him. So yasya jagat eka ahutihi asti. Sampurna jagatteva atra tasya indhana rupena bhavati. Sampurna, the entire world, Brahmandam itself, that is, he is capable of creating pralayam there. That's what he is trying to say here. So, yasya jagat eka ahutihi vartate tasya krodha na jvalati. But his anger does not burn at all. Why? He wants to give Rudra, he wants to protect Rudra, his authority of pralayam. See, Raudri pratisarga adhikaritam paripalayitum. In order to protect Rudra's authority of pralayam, who is the authority for pralayam? That is, who is responsible for pralaya? Pratisarga. Pratisarga ityukte pralayaha. In every day of Brahma, so Brahma, the time frame, it'll probably be nice to have that time frame in mind, go through the Hindu units of time, as I said before. So Brahma lives for 100 years. In that, every day when he sleeps at night, the three worlds are destroyed, and the next day morning he wakes up and creates those three worlds. So that pratidinam yaha pralayaha bhavati satu pratisargaha ityuchyate. So that pratisarga ityukte the pralayam which will create another sarga in the morning of Brahma. There is another Mahapralayam which happens after 100 such years of Brahma, but every day he sleeps and wakes up. So when he sleeps, there is nothing in this world. Only when he wakes up, he creates the three worlds. So this is a daily pralayam that happens in Brahma's time frame. Namakka, it is some millions of years. The count itself is something that we can't imagine here. So that is the pratisarga. And who is responsible for that pralaya every day? Usually they say it is Rudra Devatas. The Rudra has the adhikaram for pratisarga. So pratisargasya adhikari, pratisargasya adhikaraha, adhikaraha ityukte prabhutvam, the authority for doing pralayam. That adhikarita, the authority, lies with the Rudra. So Raudri, Rudraha eva devata tasya adhikarasya. So Raudrim pratisarga adhikaritam pratipalayatum. Now if Durvasa decided to show his anger, and if his Krodagni started burning, then the whole world will be destroyed and Rudra will have no work there. His work will be gone. So he wants to protect that adhikaram. Okay. So in order to protect, in order to ensure that Rudrasya adhikarita nashtana bhavati iti tasya manasi vartate, Durvasasaha manasi, tasmadeva saha swakopam na jalati iti. So Maharshi Kopam does not burn because wants to protect that. It is his work. Let me not do his work. So paripalayitum raudrim pratisargadhikaritam. Okay. Tasya na jvalati krodho yasyaika jagada hutihi. And the next one is this, he is describing further the greatness of Durvasa and how people are all afraid of him. Why are they afraid? It's more like a bahumanam. And see what could happen. Yedi tasya krodhaha ajvalishyat. You'll have to use some ring lakara there to say he doesn't burn. But in case he does, if it had burnt, then this entire world would have been destroyed. But that sort of a thing doesn't happen. So devas are all afraid of what could happen and what sort of a power he has and how do they behave in his ashrama. Agnyagara gate tasmin anahutagata swayam sandarshayanti swatmanam deva avahana kshane. The devas, see, he is a maharshi who has his Agni Karyam every day. He has to perform Agnihotra and other Yaga Yajnadi. The work of a person is to do Yagam, Yajanam, Yajanam, Adhyayanam, Adhyapanam, Ityadikam. So this Maharshi also does his Agni Karya every day. During Agni Karyam, you say Indraya idam namama. Agni has to take that Ahuti and go to Indra and give him his portion. He is a postman there. Now, this is what normally happens in all the yajnas that we have seen. Now, for Maharishi, it is different. Durvasa is a different category here, right? They are all waiting for him to call so that, the moment he calls Indra, Indra should be present there and he should take that ahuti. If he is not present, they are all afraid of his anger there. That's why the first shloka was Yasya krodaha na jvalati yavatu na jvalati tavattu sarvam subhiksham bhavati. The moment his Agni, his Krodham or his Kopam, his mercury level rises, that's it. Everybody is in danger. So they do not want to get into that frame there. So Agnyagara tasmin anahutagataha swayam devaha tatra bhavanti eva. Swayam anahuta agataha devaha. Anahutaha devaha. Ahuta ityukte, they have been invited. Anahutaha, they have not been invited at all. Even before getting the invitation, the devas are all present there in an invisible form. Anahuta agataha devaha. Swayameva. Swayam agataha. Anahutaha devaha. Swayam tatra agataha. Kutra maharshehe ashrame. They have come to this Maharshi's ashrama without even having had an invitation, and they have just come of their own accord and they are waiting there. Pratiksham kuruvanti. Tasmin agnyagara gate. When he enters that Agni agaram. Now, here, this is the first action that happens here. When when Durvasa enters that Agni Agaram. Agaraha or Agaraha, both are same. So Agara is Shala, a house. So Agni Shala iti. So Agnehe Shalam Tasmin Gate Sati. Maharsho Gate Sati. When Durvasa had entered into that Agni Shala, Yagashala, what happens? These people, oh, he has entered. That's all. He has not even started the fire, or he has not even started the Purvanga Kriya or getting ready anything. These people quickly, they Atma Preranaya, Swayameva. Swayam Anahuta Agataha Devaha. The Devas who had arrived without an invitation of their own accord, they were waiting there. After that, the Durvasa started the fire and everything. He started doing that. And now he calls upon those devas, Avahana Kshane. And at that moment of calling, Swatmanam Sandarshayanti, they show themselves at that time of Avahanam. So you can take it as Avahanam and Ahwanam are both the same here, very similar here. Okay, Ahwanam is calling, and Avahanam is calling during the Yaga time. It's a very subtle thing. So Ahwanam is a superset. That is, you can call anybody for anything. You can call them for a shraddha, you can call them for eating, bhojanam, you can call them for a vivaham, or you can call anybody for during the ahuti danam. So tatra, but then when you do an ahuti danam, during the sacrifice, during the yajna, when you call upon some deva, then it is called avahanam. Yeah, avahayati, pratisthapayati, iti avahanam na. You are calling that devamsha to be present here. That is avahanam. So that is with very specifically in the context of puja, which is that word is used. Whereas ahwanam can be in the context of anything. Okay, here we take it as avahanam. So without even doing that avahanam, these devas are present there. The moment Durvasa enters the Yagashala, because they know that the sacrifice is going to be given and he is going to do ahwanam. So at that point of time, we should not do any delay and we should be present at that point of time. So Agni Agara Gate Tasmin Durvasasi. So when Durvasa had entered that Yagashala, Anahutagataha Swayam Sandarshayanti Swatmanam Swa Atmanam Swa Swarupam Sandarshayanti Prakati Kurvanti Devaha Avahana Kshane at the moment of Avahanam. Okay, Agnyagara Gate Tasmin Anahutagata Swayam Sandarshayanti Swatmanam Deva Avahana Kshane. Are there any questions here? If you have any questions, please raise your hand and you can unmute yourself. Namaste, Mahodaya. Yeah, you can unmute yourself and ask.
Namaste, Mahodaya.
Namaste.
वस्तुतः संशयः इत्यपेक्षया एकं स्मृतवती वदामि इति चिन्तितवती। लघिमा गरिमा विषये उक्तवती किल। तत्र रामायणे शक्त्यायुधेन पातितः लक्ष्मणः रावणेन उन्नेतुम् अशक्यः आसीत्। किन्तु हनुमान् लक्ष्मणं बाहुभ्याम् उन्नीतवान्, यतः हनुमतः भक्तिः तथा अस्ति इति।
Okay.
हनुमतः भक्तिः। हनुमान् अथ तेजस्वी लक्ष्मणं रावणार्दितम् आनेद् राघवाभ्यासं बाहुभ्यां परिगृह्यतम् वायुसूनो सुहृत्वेन भक्त्या परमया च सह शत्रूणामप्यकम्प्योऽपि लघुत्वम् अगमत् कपेः इति।
लघुत्वं कपेः अगमत्। कपि विषये तु तस्य लघुत्वम् अभूत् भक्तिकारणात्। Very nice.
किन्तु रावणः यदा प्रयत्नं कृतवान् तदा हिमवान् मन्दरो मेरुः त्रैलोक्यं वा सहामरैः शक्यं भुजाभ्याम् उद्धर्तुं न शक्यो भरतानुजः इति.
என்ன துளித கைலாசம் வர் இதுல ரகுவம்சா he says he had tulita kailasam bahubhyam tulita kailasam, so one who had shaken the kailasa itself, so tadrishaha saha shatruhu iti, so one who had even lifted all of these mountains and everything, he couldn't lift Lakshmana. Lakshmana assumed that gurutvam at that point of time, and he became Laghu for that. This is one of the siddhis that you're talking about. Yeah.
And abraha aham chintitavati श्वेतवर्णः वा इति न वा?
अभ्रवा इल्ली
मेघः मात्रमेव किल, यतः ऐरावतः श्वेतवर्ण गजः इति
तत्तु वर्तते एव, किन्तु अत्र अभ्र इति स्वर्णम् इति अर्थः वर्तते, न तु श्वेत इति.
अस्तु.
There is a meaning of मेघः, आकाशः, स्वर्णम्, न तु there is no meaning of white for it.
अस्तु महोदय, धन्यवादाः.
नमस्ते. Arun Kumar Modi, you can unmute yourself and ask. Namaste.
Yes, ma'am. இப்போ துர்வாசரோட கோபம் யாகாக்னிக்கும் பூமி அதுல போடுற ஆகுதிக்கும் சமானமா பேசியிருக்காரு இல்லையா மேடம்? கரெக்ட், எஸ். அதே மாதிரி அந்த
அலங்காரம் என்னன்னு நான் சொல்லல, அதுலலாம் ரூபகம் அது. So because ஜகத் ஏவ ஏகா ஆகுதிங்கிற இடத்துல ரூபக அலங்காரம்.
அதே மாதிரி இந்த அனிமா கரிமா லகிமாலாம் நம்ம ரமண மகரிஷி, ராமகிருஷ்ண பரமஹம்சர் இவங்க வாழ்க்கையில சாதாரணமா பார்க்கலாம் இல்லையா? எல்லா இடத்துலயும் நம்ம கேள்விப்படுறோம்.
Absolutely. ஆமா. We have many instances of these 8 siddhis that ana adla vedikiya there is a story about Ramakrishna Paramahamsa which I really like, about these 8 siddhis, why that should not be a goal ingarthukku. There was one sage or one person who had spent a lot of time in Rishikesh or somewhere, and he came to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and he said, you know, I have done tapas for 12 years and I have gotten this siddhi of walking on the water. He will show that. Appa Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, idukku poi, why did you waste 12 years of your life for this? You give 25 cents to 25 paise to this boatman, he will take you across. How that is
ஒரு ஃபாரின் லேடி பரமஹம்சரை போட்டோ எடுக்கணும்னு கேட்டாங்களாம் சாரதா தேவி கிட்ட. சரிம்மா நீ போட்டோ எடுத்துக்கோ, நான் அவரை தொடாதே அப்படின்னாங்க. அப்ப பரமஹம்சர் சமாதி ஸ்டேட்ல இருந்தாராம். இந்த லேடி போட்டோ எடுக்கும் போது தலை கொஞ்சம் குனிஞ்ச மாதிரி இருந்துதான். சரி தலைய நேர் பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னு தாடையில கை வச்சு லேசா தூக்கினாராம். அப்படியே உடம்பே மேல வந்துருச்சான். அந்த லேடி போட்டோ கேமரா தூக்கி போட்டு ஓடியே போயிடுச்சு அந்த லேடி. அந்த மாதிரி இன்சிடென்ட்லாம் ஒரு வாழ்க்கையில நடந்திருக்கு. அப்படியே உடம்பே மேல ஃபுல்லா வந்துருச்சான்.
அதெல்லாம் லகிமா தானே. It's like he has made himself so light. See, those are all things that naturally you will get and the process la நம்மளே கொஞ்சம் சில சின்ன சின்ன விஷயங்களா we will see, you know, what we are in our life, but it's yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Namaste, you can unmute yourself and ask a question. Namaste Mahodaya.
அவருக்கு தானே அனிமா ரெகிமா சித்தி எல்லாம் நிறைய உண்டு இல்லையா ஆஞ்சநேயருக்கு? அவர் யூஸ் பண்ணிருக்காரு இல்லையா அந்த சித்தி எல்லாம் கடல் தாண்டறதுக்காக?
இதுக்கு சொன்னேனே இப்போ கடல் தாண்டறதுக்கு he has used that. Oh right, yes. So he becomes really small and goes into Simhika's mouth and comes out. Adukapram he takes on the Mahato Rupam. Mahima also he shows when he does the Vishwarupam and you know adella ama kaamchirken. Light. Yeah. Laghutvam is for him to just fly across the ocean. He must have used Laghutvam at some point. But then to give the force, he must have used the Gurutvam, because appada the mountain itself goes down with his pressure and then he jumps, right? So there he must have shown his Gurutvam. Astanda. Very true.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Any other questions? Okay. Yeah. Namaste, Madhya. Shripada.
Ma'am,
Yes.
third Shloka-la, Sarvasamapi Siddhinam இந்த ஒரு வாசான்னு வந்துச்சுங்க.
Sarvasamapi siddhinam.
அந்த வாசம் ரெண்டு இடத்துல வருதுன்னு சொன்னீங்கல்ல, அதே
Correct.
மாதிரி இந்த ஸ்லோகால வருமா?
இதுல வந்து அக்ஞாகாரகதே தஸ்மின் அனாஹூத வரலையே. ஸோ இதுல வந்து என்ன எடுத்துக்கலாம்னா சந்தர்ஷயந்தி ஸ்வாத்மானம் தேவா ஆவாஹனே க்ஷணே வண்ணா வாங்குற இது ரிப்பீட் ஆகுதுன்னு வச்சுக்கலாம். பட் அது மாதிரி ரொம்ப கிளியரா வரல. So if you look at அந்த சர்வாசாமபி சித்தினாம் துர்வாசா is very clearly the second and third letters are repeated in the first and second padam, whereas here that sort of a repetition is not there. So இதுல வந்து you can't call it as prasam. பரிபாலயித்தும் பிரதிசர்க்கம் அதுலயும் இல்ல. யஸ்ய ந ஜ்வலதி க்ரோதஹ fourth ஸ்லோகால இருக்கு. You can say here you have yasya na jalati krodho tasya na jalati krodho yasya ika jagadahutihi. You have the dvitiya akshara prasa here in the fourth shloka, but not in the fifth shloka.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. नमः सुन्दरनाथाय तस्मै हालास्य वासिने चतुष्षष्टि विधालीला येनाकारि भुवस्थले.